They dropped the city in a bowl of green.
It's such an ideal location. I mean, it's just
In LA,
gorgeous.
they'd have houses all up that hill.
Oh, can you imagine?
In New York, they'd have high-rises all up that hill.
In New York,
With
that
Trump's
hill would
name
be
on
New
it.
Jersey.
Exactly. Look at it from here.
The quality of the light reflected off the titanium, it's so amazing. But Frank Gehry is, I mean, he really is an artist. You know, his buildings are not, they're almost not,
They're almost
they
not
almost
buildings.
don't even have to function as buildings.
Right.
They're so incredible. They're so innovative.
This town is great. Before this was here, this town was not great.
This
Look at
town
these.
is alive. It's really happening.
Exactly. A university and one of the hottest museums in the country, and the town goes from 0 to 60 in 10 years. It's a European icon as much as anything in any town,
It's
even
an
if not more.
international icon.
Right.
I think it's his best building.
You think so?
I do. This, to me, is just...
This is just the peak. This is perfection. Let's go take a look.
Wow.
This is impressive. Hello, my little perrito. What do you think?
I think Jeff Koons knows what he's doing.
I think I've come a long way with Jeff Koons in the last 10 years. I used to be a little worried about it. Now I really like it. Now I think it's the greatest thing.
Hola.
Hola.
Welcome.
Encantada.
Waiting for GP and me at the Bilbao Guggenheim was Juan Ignacio Vidarte, museum director, who took us on a private whirlwind tour of the Googie.
So, I imagine that there's a great deal more tourism now than there was before. Has it become one of the main industries of the city?
Well, certainly, I mean, it has been a dramatic change because the city got almost no tourism before and now gets 1 million visitors a year just to the museum.
Wow. That's
How many?
A million a year.
Wow.
But in terms of the economic structure of the city, it's still a very small part.
Right.
But I think it has helped the city to change its outlook. It has a much more cosmopolitan international outlook.
Progressive.
Yeah, progressive. You know, 70% of our visitors come from outside Spain,
Right.
which is a big number.
Mostly French?
Well, about 20% of them are French, but
that's
from
not
all over
much.
Europe and also from America. We have about 10% of American visitors every year.
Tell me a little bit about this
Well, we are
magnificent spider.
just below this work called Maman. Is a work by Louis Bourgeois, who is part of the collection, and is one of the public sculptures around the museum. So you saw the puppy, Jeff Koons, when we were coming in. We'll be having these red arcs from Daniel Buren.
Next, GP and I were taken up to the roof for a bird's eye view.
Well, from up here, you clearly dropped something right into Basque Country, didn't you?
Yeah, someone said that it was like an outer space creature which had landed here, but it was here forever. So it was like completely awkward to the city, but completely in sync with the city. And I think it's the way it fits and blends with the hill, the green hill behind, and with the city in front, and with the river in the middle. I think he got it right.
The he referred to is none other than Frank Gehry himself, who literally transformed a turn-of-the-century industrial landscape into a now vibrant and modern city.
There was an industrial site here with cranes and shipping containers. This is a shipping port. The Basques they still do have a shipping port facility. They were in making steel products, working in steel mills, which were being deaccessioned. It was a culture on a decline financially. They asked me for the Sydney Opera House, Minister of Culture, Minister of Finance, President, Mayor. They asked for that.
Wow.
They said they want something.
Astonishing.
That was scary. I mean, when somebody asks you for that, what do you, you want to pull the covers over your head.
Right.
So we just responded. Now, actually, something never happened to me before. The very first sketch I did in the hotel, you would recognize this building.
Wow.
But since I'm too insecure to have gone with that, I spent the next 6 months trying to make something out of this. I had started working with shapes like this earlier, so it's not like an invention that just came out of the blue. It evolved. If you came to my office, it looked like a tailor shop. Each piece was laid out like flat patterns, and the wall was filled with the ones we rejected until we got it just perfect and it fit together like we wanted it to. It's not something that is a souffle that happened.
Right.
It was very deliberate all along the way. The problem for guys like me is how do you preserve the feelings, passion, through the process of all the people that are going to touch it. And that's what the miracle of buildings are, is that thousands of people's hands work on a building, right? And so how do you keep this energy, and that's something that, I just focus on from beginning to end.
Do you start with the external aspects of a building?
No, everybody thinks I do, but I don't.
You start with the
I
internal.
work from inside out.
Wow.
I'm a very traditional, functional, the spaces have to be such and such and such. There isn't one piece of steel that's the same in this building. And they 6 bidders bid on it, and they were within 1% of each other. That means when that happens, that means the documents they're bidding on are very tight,
Right.
which the computer made it possible. And they were 18% under budget.
You're kidding. That's miraculous.
That's unique in the world.
Yeah, so it was really sort of a miracle. The whole thing's been a miracle for me.
How do you sort of go about
It's
selecting your materials?
It's an interesting process. I've been using metal on the exterior buildings for a long time because it's the only material you can make a roof and a wall out of. If you think about it, you can't take plaster and make a roof with it.
Right.
And it's very difficult to make a stone roof. And the tradition of metal roofs goes back to the ages, I wanted to make three-dimensional things where the roof and the walls and everything were the same. You don't get many choices. So you want something that reflects the light and plays with the light. So the only choices you have are stainless steel and 50 variations of stainless steel. We made mock-ups of stainless steel, and in the bad light, they went dead, really dead. And I was frustrated about it. We figured out ways to scratch it, to get light in, to give it perky. We dyed it, we did everything. We stamped on it.
Amazing.
I was in LA in my office, and I was very frustrated about it. And I was rummaging through the materials pile, and I found this piece of titanium this big. And I looked at it and I said, nail it to the telephone pole outside and let's see what happens. By some miracle, it rained in LA that day. And the piece of titanium was golden. And I said, Eureka, that was the Eureka moment.
Light bulb moment.
So then I priced it, and it was twice the cost of stainless steel, so we couldn't do it, on our budget. So then I got clever, and I decided, well, titanium is stronger, so you can make it thinner. So I made it half the thickness of stainless steel, so then it was within the ballpark.
Oh, that's great.
And we put it out to bid as an alternate. And the Russians dumped titanium on the market that period, and it came in under.
Oh, great.
And we spent 2 years in the Pittsburgh mills of the guys that make it. And it's like making the perfect salad. So it's oil and acid on the rollers. And you have to watch it and watch it and watch it, watch it. And after many, many iterations, we got this. I've never been able to get it again. I've tried.
Really?
You can't. So this is one of a kind.
It's so beautiful. It really has a depth to it that's just looks.
But when it rains, it goes golden. It's just beautiful.
When I was here 10 years ago, it wasn't a sunny day like this.
Yeah.
It was just, it looked almost lit from within.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. When I first showed them the models of this, they had a candlelight vigil against me, and one of the local artists in the press said, "Kill American architect." So there was a lot of.
I remember that.
That means you're doing something important.
They weren't so excited about it. That artist and I became really good friends. We need more architects like a hole in the head. I think you can hang a painting, you know, if you had a garage filled with old cars and junk, and you had a Picasso and you lit it right, it would look good.
It's true.